This is a proof of concept of a MIDI Master Clock and transport controller I've thought of building for a while. It'll synchronize multiple devices capable of using an external MIDI clock, as well as perform several types of transport control commands. Other features I've built into it include a readout that will show the current BPM and also the current beat once the transport started. It can start or stop instantly with one switch, or it can cue the next action with a settable count in or count out value. It has a tap tempo and also a switch for fine tempo adjustment. If you haven't seen this box before, it's a custom hardware platform that I built for writing and testing MIDI firmware. So that's an overview. I'll also demonstrate all of the features along with a singular sound Aros looper. The first thing to mention is that for nearly every mode the pedal is in, I've made it so that there's always something flashing as a tempo reference. When the transport is idle as it is now, it shows the BPM value and flashes this small dot. Once it's started, it counts the number of beats while flashing. Also, the way it's flashing is indicating both the quarter note down beat when it's on and the eighth note up beat when it's off. As you probably saw there, the basic start and stop is very simple. Starting the transport with the right switch simultaneously sends the MIDI start command and begins sending MIDI clock. You can see that the Aros is in sync with the beats being counted. If I want to change BPM, I can do that by holding down the left switch for a second, which places it into tempo mode. That's indicated by the entire display flashing the BPM at tempo. Also, MIDI clock information is being sent while in this mode. I find that's valuable, especially in audio loopers, because it gives that device time to sample clock input and do whatever internal adjustments it needs in order to begin stable playback of the audio. You can see the Aros tempo is going to update as I tap this in. Also, most of the time I'm trying to enter a specific tempo, so I made the right switch work as a fine tuner instead of trying over and over again to tap in the precise setting. Let's see how quickly I can set it to 90. Now both devices are set to 90, waiting for the start command. The other option I have for starting and stopping is to use a count in or count out with the left switch, basically cueing the action to occur at the top of a bar. The count in is adjustable in the settings for between 1 to 4 full bars. The default is 1 bar. Likewise, I can cue up a stop action. That's adjustable between 0 and 3 full bars. The default is 0, which means it'll stop at the end of the bar where the button was pressed. I'll adjust it now so it'll count out 1 full bar. I can cancel the cued action by pressing the left switch again before that action takes place. Or I can override the cued action by using the right button to change the state immediately. The main takeaway here is that both the cued actions and the immediate actions are always available for me to use. I often find I want to use both even during the same song. Now, a device like this also needs to support different time signatures if it's going to display beats and have actions that can be cued for the top of a bar. It's capable right now of doing quarter note and eighth note time signatures, up to 9 beats per bar. Let me do a demo in 5/4. I'll also set the tempo, or the Aros, to 5/4 as well. I'll also demo 5/8. It can respond to a lot of MIDI commands. It recognizes commands for explicit start and stop, as well as a toggle command between the two states, which mimics the right foot switch of the pedal. It can also perform a cued start or stop, and also toggle between those two states just like the left foot switch does. I can set the BPM. I can set different time signatures. Here's 7/4. Here's a 5/8. And here's 3/4. And I can set both the count in and count out bars. Right now it's the default. I'll set it for 2 bars. And just 1 bar. One of the main reasons I started creating this clock is to sync and control multiple devices together at once. Not only that, but each looper I've ever used brings with it its own set of rules for starting, stopping, and queuing actions. This device helps normalize everything by abstracting away those features. You've already seen it working alone with the Eros, and now I'm going to add a Pigtronix Infinity. I'm able to perform a level of synchronization that would be much harder or impossible to do without this kind of device. First thing I'll do is just tap in a new tempo. So the Eros now is adjusted to tempo 130 BPM, and the Pigtronix doesn't have a display like that, but when it's receiving clock, the light will light up only on the top of the measure. Now I'll start both together, and I can stop them, and I can also cue in the start, and I can also cue out. Here's a little more esoteric of an example, but it really demonstrates what I mean by normalizing the features. This looper in particular, the EHX 45000, doesn't work in a way that fits in with my own patterns and ideas. On its own, it's really incapable of queuing actions, even though it does support quantize, MIDI clock sync, and transport commands. A real quick orientation, here are the tempo lights. The left light is every downbeat, and the right light's just at the top of the bar. So I'll start recording. It's in quantize mode right now. So it'll give me a loop that's the exact length of the measure. But after that, the start and stop, they don't cue at all. The start and stop happens immediately. Now if I turn on the external clock mode and use stride, the cue in will start the playback. And I can also cue out and stop it. And you might have also seen there that the tempo lights began flashing in time with stride as well. Well, that's everything the pedal does for now. I'm still researching a few more ideas to make it my ideal MIDI Master Clock. Some of those ideas require adding more hardware to this platform. I also might consider building a small batch of these once I have a final enclosure worked out. It just depends on if there's much interest. What would make an ideal MIDI Master Clock for you? If you have any comments or feature ideas, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching.